Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome. Today's chit chat video is going to be about something that always comes up this time of year, and that is Halloween. If I'm being honest, Halloween isn't something that I necessarily even think about every single year. Like, I think about it when the time comes, obviously, just because, you know, you see the movies and you see the decorations and the stores have the candy and all the things set up for it. But for me personally, I don't really think about Halloween like that too much, I guess. But I feel like this year especially, that I will be having my first child, I've started to think about it a little bit more and have discussions with my husband. Of course, we still have plenty of time before our daughter gets to the point of even understanding Halloween or asking about it, or we have to explain to her why we don't participate in it or whatever. But I feel like this is a great time to talk about it. I also want to say that there is no judgment here. I know that there are some Christians who celebrate, or I don't want to say celebrate. I know that there are some Christians who participate in Halloween and activities, and some people who stay away from it. I just want to share my opinion as a Christian woman, someone who has a platform where I talk about being a Christian and my faith. So let's get into the video. I first want to start this video talking about my upbringing when it comes to Halloween, and also my husband's upbringing when it comes to Halloween. This will be about belief in Christianity, but I also feel like some of it has to do with how we were raised. So I want to just give a little background in that first. So I grew up in the South, in a Southern household with my mom and my grandmother. I grew up Baptist. We went to church every Sunday. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. I was a praise dancer. I was in the choir. We did all the things. And so I grew up in a Christian household, believing in God, believing in faith. And I will say that we did not necessarily participate in Halloween, but in some ways, now that I'm thinking about it, and we'll be discussing this with y'all, I realized that we kind of did. And so what I mean by that is, my mom did not take us trick-or-treating at the time when I was a small child. It was just me and my oldest sister. So she did not take us trick-or-treating. I also don't remember asking to go trick-or-treating. Like, I don't remember having an interest in Halloween or wondering why we don't celebrate it. I honestly can't remember if my mom ever explained why we don't celebrate Halloween. I'm sure she did, but I just don't remember. I just know that her taking us trick-or-treating was not something that she did. We also didn't like sit down and watch scary movies together or anything like that, but I will discuss the ways in which I guess she kind of allowed me to still participate in the day or the season of Halloween. So I grew up dancing, and at my dance studio for Halloween, if I had dance class on the day of Halloween or just around that time, we would dress up in our costumes and dance to the spooky, fun Halloween music, and then of course have candy. And my costumes were always like genies, fairies, kind of whimsical costume themes. So that was the extent of that. And of course at school you also had the candy. I honestly can't remember if we watched movies at school. I don't know. But I will say, although we did not watch Halloween movies as a family, I was a huge Disney Channel kid, so I did watch like Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town and all the versions of that came out, and Twitches. Like, I watched all the things. My mom didn't have a problem with me watching those things. She didn't allow me to watch other things, but maybe because it was Disney Channel, she felt okay with it. I don't know, but I loved those movies. I would always watch those movies, and that seemed to have been fine. And the last way that I can think of that we kind of participated in is that if there was a carnival or festival around that time of year, my mom would take us. I am a huge roller coaster girly. I love roller coasters, even still to this day. So we would go, I would get on the roller coasters, and then around the time of Halloween, they would have like the haunted houses or like the silly houses with all the mirrors and stuff. And my mom allowed me to go in those, and that seemed to be fine as well. So as you can see from my upbringing, from my background, I guess it was more of a thing of like, we don't participate in Halloween. Like, we aren't getting dressed up and going trick-or-treating. Like, it's not like a yearly thing that we look forward to, but there are little ways that I still participated, or we still participated. And again, I cannot remember if, there was ever a discussion about like why we don't celebrate Halloween or what Halloween truly is. I don't remember. I have no idea. I would have to ask my mom. But that's pretty much all I can remember. And what I will say is I don't remember needing anything more. Like, I don't remember feeling like, oh, I wish we went trick-or-treating, or oh, I wish we decorated the house for Halloween and we did all the things. Like, I don't remember feeling that way. I don't think I cared that much. And I think that the ways in which we did participate, I don't know if that's the right word, were enough for me. And then my husband's background, he is from the Northeast and he was raised Catholic. We are both now Christian, but he was raised Catholic. My in-laws are Catholic, and they went trick-or-treating. He's also an only child, which could also have something to do with it, but they went trick-or-treating. They did all the things. My husband loves scary movies. Even still to this day, he loves scary movies. He's already started watching his scary movies, his Halloween movies. He enjoys them, and I can't speak on how he felt as a kid, obviously, and he's not here, but at least now it's just a thing of like, when the season comes around, he will watch whatever the scary movies are. I don't even know. I don't watch scary movies, so I don't know, but he will watch his scary movies, and that's pretty much the extent of it. And of course, I also can't speak on my in-laws' beliefs or their thought process at that time or how they feel even today. But what I can say from talking to my husband about it and just knowing about my in-laws, when it comes to certain things, they have the belief that things are what you make it. So for my husband, his thing is, okay, well, even if Halloween is now something that's seen as dark and, evil and all these things, it's like your intention behind it and what you are doing with it. And so he doesn't see any harm watching his scary movies. He doesn't feel any convictions about them. To him, they are just movies. He enjoys them for the season. When the season is over, he goes back to watching something else. So some people believe that things are about intention, like your intention behind it, your reason for participating, or like what are you doing around that time or for that holiday. And then some people have the other belief that like, no, you should just stay away from it altogether. It doesn't matter what your intentions are. This is what the world intends that day to be, so you should just stay away from it altogether. So I just wanted to set the tone by starting off with talking about my husband and I's upbringing, and I guess our parents' beliefs and how that played out in participating in Halloween in our lives, and pretty much what we do now as adults, and especially as adults who will have children of that age one day who I'm sure are going to ask about Halloween and maybe even want to celebrate or participate in some way, shape, or form. I just want to say again that there is no judgment. Everyone's walk looks different, but I think it's important that we talk about these things with grace and understanding. So I will say for me now as an adult with my own life, own beliefs, I do not participate in Halloween. My husband and I, we don't go to haunted houses or spooktacular or anything like that. And I think what changed for me wasn't about fear, but it was about peace. I realized that some of the traditions don't sit right with my spirit anymore. I wanted to be more intentional about what I invite into my home and what I celebrate, and that has looked different from year to year. I personally don't care for the scary movies, for the Halloween movies, but sometimes I do sit and watch them with my husband because it's what he enjoys. So I will sit and watch maybe at least just one per year. Or also our church does trunk or treat. We've never actually stayed for the event, but we usually help set up for it, which I know is also a popular thing, especially in the Christian community, or just families looking for safer options for their children to participate in Halloween. So we do help out with that as well. I think the key here is grace and discernment. Not everything is black and white all the time, and I truly believe that God will guide each and every one of us to our own convictions. It's okay if your family does something different from mine. I believe that what matters the most is that our hearts stay focused on Jesus. He is in every season, even in the fall, even with Halloween coming up. So if you're someone who's been wrestling with this topic, I feel the best thing to do is to take it to prayer. Ask God to show you what you should do for you and your household. Don't feel pressured about what's trending online. Just walk in peace and obedience and what He places on your heart. Anyway, I hope this conversation felt like sitting down and talking with a friend and just talking about things with grace and love. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you celebrate Halloween? Do you believe that Halloween is something that's black and white? Do you believe that it's all about your personal convictions? Do you have other ways that you participate or celebrate in this time of year? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see y'all in the next video.